What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Recently, I was able to get my hands on the Collective Obligation, which I was honestly on the fence about. But I was intrigued by this Vow of the Disciple raid exotic, as it had been many a moon since I had last got the satisfaction of getting one. So I figured, what the hell? And now, after taking an in-depth look at this exotic pulse rifle, I have to say that I have been blown away at how powerful this weapon currently is, as it comes with the intrinsic trait called Void Leech, an extremely unique trait that gives the Collective Obligation an alternate firing mode, providing a massive 20% damage bonus once activated. This alternate mode is charged up by defeating an enemy who is affected by a Void debuff, either through volatile, suppression, or weakening effects. Void Leech can also be triggered by landing 6 hits against a Void debuffed enemy, or even by becoming Void debuffed yourself. A special note to this though, you cannot self-debuff to trigger Void Leech. It can only be triggered when an enemy causes the Void debuff. Once Void Leech has been charged, it can be activated with a long hold of the reload button, which will then grant Void debuff rounds to the Collective Obligation, which match that which were leeched, along with giving a 20% boost to damage for a total of 15 seconds, with no cooldown afterwards. Collective Obligation comes with an additional intrinsic trait called Umbral Sustenance, which automatically reloads Collective Obligation whenever you gain Devour, go invisible, or receive a Void Overshield, making this a weapon that can provide some immense benefits to Void builds for Hunter, Warlock, and Titan alike. But today, we are focusing on the synergy that's created when the Collective Obligation is paired up with a Void Walker during the Mantle of Battle Harmony exotic chess piece. An absolutely amazing exotic for Warlocks, coming with the intrinsic trait called Absorption Cells. Defeating an enemy with a weapon that matches your subclass grants one of 2 different buffs. If you are not at full super energy, you will receive Energy Siphon, a 2-second buff that grants a total of 3% super energy off of each Void weapon kill. When you are at full super energy, you will receive the Absorption Cells buff instead, granting your Void weapons, including Collective Obligation, an additional damage bonus of 20% for 6 total seconds, with an additional 4 seconds being added to the duration for each additional Void weapon kill. This is what makes this exotic combination so amazing, as Absorption Cells gives 20% damage bonus, which stacks on top of Collective Obligation's bonus of 20%, giving you a significant boost in damage that can be triggered over and over again. Pairing these exotics up with a well-based build will also allow the use of Font of Might, giving an additional 25% damage bonus to Void weapons when picking up a Void Well, which lasts for 11 seconds and stacks on top of the 40% damage bonus that's already being applied, since triggering a Void buff and debuff gives us Void Leech and Umbral Sustenance. We want to ensure that we are regenerating these abilities as often as possible. So to best do that with a Void Warlock, we're using Feed the Void alongside a Child of the Old Gods. This will trigger Devour whenever we defeat an enemy with any Void ability, and by using the Void Buddy, we'll be able to siphon grenade and melee energy off of enemies caught within its web. Those who are trapped within the Void Buddy's web will be weakened, giving us Void Leech, and by defeating those enemies, additional class ability energy will be generated, allowing the use of the Void Buddy far more often, along with the natural healing benefits that the Rift offers. The choice in fragments with this build revolves heavily around the use of Collective Obligation and creating as many Void buffs and debuffs as possible. But keeping that in mind, many Guardians might not have this weapon, so weapons like Graviton Lance, Dead Messenger, Lorentz Driver, the seasonal pulse rifle, the Velis X, or others that come with Repulsor Brace can be great substitutes for Collective Obligation. With that being said, we are using Echo of Undermining, which grants grenades the ability to weaken targets, helping trigger that Void Leech. Those grenades will also trigger volatile rounds for void weapons with the use of Echo of Instability, making weapons like the Collective Obligation far more lethal. By using Echo of Harvest, defeating weakened enemies with precision final blows will create an orb, which synergizes perfectly with Echo of Starvation, which will grant Devour when picking up orbs, which will then trigger Umbral Substance. By using a Harmonic Siphon mod on helmets, orbs can also be generated by getting rapid kills with void weapons, adding to this build's amazing capability of generating void buffs and debuffs. Running the seasonal mod Weakened Clear with this build will give you several additional advantages, as it applies a void debuff to enemies that are hit by a grenade launcher, which weakens them and increases damage dealt by an additional 15% for all members of the fire team. This will also reload all stowed weapons in the process, and since it applies a void debuff, this will trigger the charging of Void Leech, making Weaken Clear with a kinetic or heavy grenade launcher an extremely beneficial combination alongside Collective Obligation. Since grenade launchers get the nod for unstoppable mods, and pulse rifles get the duty of anti-barrier champions this season, this combination of the Collective Obligation and Mantle of Battle Harmony will definitely serve as a great build to take on higher end content throughout Season of the Seraph. And with that being said, we've come to an end of today's video on the Collective Obligation and the Mantle of Battle Harmony, in a build that I'm dubbing Collective Harmony. I'd love to hear your thoughts and impressions of the Collective Obligation and whether or not you've had the luck of getting it. So let us know those in the comments below. And thank you as always for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran looking for a new home, be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.